you really need to get them to the hospital and have them supervised because they might actually overdose again. So it's not a cure-all, and we're really trying to tell people don't mix drugs like opiates with something else like benzos, because that puts you at risk. And we're trying to tell people don't use alone. Oh, there's a lot of get into treatment. Get into treatment, but carry Narcan in case you witness somebody. So we're trying to get the word out.
And they will at AHOPE. When you go, they'll teach you how to use it.
Absolutely. Narcan, they'll show you how. Right. And it won't hurt anybody if a kid gets his hand on it.
I was just going to ask you that. Is there an age limit?
Yeah, you have to use it.
You got to be at least 18 years old.
And again, it's a bystander intervention, meaning you wouldn't use it on yourself. Right. You obviously have it. But AHOPE has trained grandmothers and service providers and anybody who might, shelter workers.
So let's get back to the
coalition.
Let's get back to the coalition. All right. Where are we now, and where do we want to go?
Well, part of it is that the coalition is real excited about the work that we have been doing in terms of overdose prevention, but we also recognize that there are other issues related to substance use within our communities, and we want to sort of find out what those issues are. Over the past several months, we've been implementing this community survey that asks questions around, what drugs are you seeing in your community? How is it affecting teens in your community? How is it affecting parents in your community, adults in your community? And what are your suggestions on how does a coalition tackle those issues? And so just even this morning, we were at Grove Hall Stop and Shop, and we were at the Stop and Shop on Center Street
in JP,
right. Administering the survey to folks who were just walking in to get their groceries for the day.
Did anybody stop?
Yes, we did. Actually, what happened was we were supposed to be there from 10 to 12. We ended up stopping at 11 because we didn't have any more gift cards.
Both groups
on
separately.
Both sides.
Well, we were giving out $10 Stop and Shop.
Yeah, but still,
But it takes. I have to say, it takes a lot for someone to stop on their way to the grocery store, or coming out with bags in their hand.
Because I only got so many minutes.
Right, exactly. So I think that folks were really, really engaged in this issue. When we were at Grove Hall, people were talking about the link between substance use and violence.
Okay.
One lady was saying, the first lady that we talked to, she was saying, yeah, people get high and then they start doing stupid stuff and then they want to shoot and they want to do all this. And then even, she was talking about some guy that was on the street corner who was not high with drugs, but drunk. Alcohol, right. Remember, because alcohol is a substance use, is a substance
Which
also.
a lot of people don't realize.
A lot of people don't realize. I want to admit, it alters our mind, our decision making too. So she was saying, this guy was on the corner, he was drunk. I asked him if I could help him, and he started yelling at me and getting violent. And I said, yeah, so, what do you think that we can do about that? And she said, the community really needs to understand the effects of substance use. Something that we might take for granted as providers, because we talk about it all the time, but really having community members know, look, this is what happens when you're smoking crack. This is what happens when you're drinking too much. And this is how it impacts the greater community. Not just you, but your family members, your neighbor, the store on the corner, overall. So it's going to be some exciting work, I think, coming out of this, a survey that we're doing.
All right, so right now you're doing the needs assessment.
Yes.
In other words, figuring out where we go next. Talking
to community folks and saying, what is it that you think? What are your opinions around this?
So let's talk about the community folks. Are you looking for community folks to help you out, or is this going to be the usual suspects of providers sitting around the table saying, okay, this is what people in the neighborhood need?
No, so every one of our approaches and sort of even the way in which the overdose prevention work happened was community driven. And so we are really focused in not only taking suggestions from community members, but asking community members to actually come to the table of the coalition. There's room. We'll make room. So we want folks actually to be hands-on involved, and by any way that you can. If it's only that you can complete the survey for us, that's fine. We value that. If it's that you can only come to one meeting, we value that. Because we also respect people's times and other priorities, but we really value community folks getting involved in every step of the way. And so there's going to be a data analysis process where we're actually doing focus groups at the end of this month. And we're going to take all this information from the survey, from the focus groups, and really look at it and go through it and see what are some of the key themes that people are talking about.
All right. Now, you guys, how often and where do you guys meet?
So we meet once a month as a coalition at Bromley Heath.
The community room?
Not in the community room. We actually meet in the, what room?
It's the main administration building in the conference room, actually, but it might change from time to time, so we really encourage folks, if you'd like to come to a meeting, just jump on the website and call us or shoot us an email.
Which they've been putting the website up on the screen, but is there a phone number and someone that folks can call?
Yeah, so first let me finish. We meet
go ahead.
Once a month, first Tuesday of every month from 10 to 12.
All right.
And we provide refreshments and breakfast.
Hey.
Yeah, hey. So
and we're hoping that if we get folks from the community, moms and youth and family members and just folks who live in the community, we're very happy to start doing evening meeting, actually, because we realize that not everyone can get to a meeting during the day.
Yep.
But right now, we're in the process of saying, come give us your ideas, come join us, tell us what you're good at, and we'll put you to work.
We'll fit it in, get it in, and fit it in.
One of the things, and I hope the folks out there can appreciate this, I love the fact that you're not walking into the community with a cookie cutter approach saying this is what you need.
Right.
You guys are doing it the right way by saying, what do you need? What's wrong?
What do you want?
And how can we help you fix it?
Right.
Now, they're getting ready to give us the 2-minute wrap up. And I'm getting ahead of the game on this one here because we've got 3 minutes. Who would be your ideal community person? Who could you get? If you could get anybody to come to the table and say, let me work with you. Your wish list, not just one, your wish list. Who would you love to have?
For me, the ideal person is someone who wants to do something about substance issues in the community.
When you say do something, you mean get their hand, get involved? Do
something in any way that they are fit and able to do. I think that, like I said before, we all have our abilities, and as long as you're willing to bring that ability to the table, we will get you in and fit you in. Right. And so I think, as community members, and I guess this is part of my wrap up, as a community, it's time for us to stop sitting on the side and pointing at what is wrong. We've done that, and we see the effects of it.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't solve any problems. And so we need to take action on solving our own issues. Other folks from outside can come in, but we know our community. We know Miss So-and-so on the street. We know Billy who just got locked up. We know that sister who's always on the corner and her kids are at home and she's on the corner smoking crack. We know our community. And so we know what it means in order to save our community. And this coalition gives us an opportunity to do that.
All right. What's the phone number from someone wants to call you?
So call me, Chioma Nnaji, at 617-595-6888.
I'm going to ask you that again before we wrap up.
Okay? All right. I got it in my head.
I know you do. Deborah, what's your one thing you want everybody to, if they don't remember anything else that we talked about in the last 25 minutes, what's the one thing you want them to remember?
Families that struggle with addiction also struggle with the stigma of that addiction. And it's not a moral issue. It's not that somebody just doesn't have the willpower to pull together. People who are addicted to substances need support and treatment, and they need families to be supported, not stigmatized. And so part of reaching people and giving them the support they need is breaking through some of the stigma and moving to the next step, which is preventing the addiction in the first place.
Excellent.
So that's what I hope we walk away with.
All right.
Excellent.
What's the phone number again to reach you? Real quick.
You can reach me, Chioma, at 617-595-6888.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. I'm going to bring you back on when we to give some updates.
That's right.
This is some serious stuff, and
Yes.
folks need to know about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap up by saying that I'm looking at the wrong camera, but that's okay. There we go. I want to thank you. I hope you got some really serious information. There's something going on in our neighborhood, and I didn't know about it until I got a chance to sit down and talk about these ladies. I thought we had overcome something when we just done a really good job of hiding it. And it's out in the open, and we're stumbling over it, and it's time we stop ignoring it. My last closing thought, and I know I've got 30 seconds to do this in, is I just recently found out that basically 2 years ago, a dear friend, George Kenny, had passed away. And George taught me everything that I needed to know way back when about recovery, about substance abuse, and just about how to deal with folks. George was a great man. He was part of what we call COCO, Community of Color Outreach. And I, for one, miss him. I feel guilty about the fact that I had dropped out of touch with George over the last couple of years. But I know that brother was working from bed, doing harder work than most people I know every day. Thanks for hanging out with me here. I'll see you around the neighborhood. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. We did it.